One quiet evening, you gaze up at the starry sky. Each glowing point isn't just light, it's a world. Billions of stars, billions of planets. But is there anyone out there, beyond the silent vastness of space? We ask ourselves this question often, and now science has a surprisingly specific answer. There could be as many as 36 intelligent alien civilizations in our galaxy. Yes, you heard that right. Not 3, not 5, not 100, but exactly 36. It sounds absurdly precise, and yet this number wasn't plucked from a science fiction novel. It comes from calculations made by British astronomers and published in a scientific journal. They based their work on the famous Drake equation, but adjusted it using the latest knowledge about exoplanets and life on Earth. But let's start with the basics. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, contains around 200 billion stars. If even every second star has planets, and 1 in every 100 has an Earth-like planet, we are already talking about millions of potential second Earths. Of course, not every planet is suitable for life. It might be too hot, too cold, too toxic, or simply lack water. Even so, statistics suggest that tens of millions of worlds in our galaxy alone might be habitable. Researchers from the University of Nottingham posed the question: if intelligent life develops no less often than it did on Earth, how many civilizations could theoretically be active right now? Their conclusion: anywhere from 4 to 211, with 36 being the most optimistic estimate. But hold on, if there really are 36 of them, why haven't we seen any yet? This is the paradox that Enrico Fermi once posed. If aliens exist, where are they? Why hasn't anyone contacted us, sent a signal, or simply arrived? It's one of the most unsettling mysteries in modern science. Perhaps they, like us, are afraid to reveal themselves. Or maybe they simply lack the technology to transmit a signal across thousands of light years. Or, more disturbingly, perhaps every civilization ends up destroying itself before it ever reaches the stars. But let's not jump to bleak conclusions too quickly. Some scientists suggest that life isn't a rare miracle, it's a natural outcome. When the conditions are right, it appears, it grows, and sometimes it becomes intelligent. But then what? That's where everything gets complicated. Perhaps intelligent beings have no interest in space at all. Maybe they live underwater, deep beneath layers of ice, or in subterranean cities, completely unaware of the universe beyond. Or on the contrary, maybe they have already mastered interstellar travel, but have chosen to observe us without interfering, just as we observe wild animals in a nature reserve. There's a theory known as the zoo hypothesis. It proposes that more advanced civilizations deliberately avoid contact with humanity so we can evolve on our own. They aren't interested in disrupting our history, just as a director isn't interested in interfering with a movie while it's still playing. But what if we simply can't recognize alien communication? What if they don't speak in words or use radio waves, but some form of expression so alien that we cannot even imagine it? One of the most intriguing hypotheses suggests that we've already received signals from other civilizations, but failed to recognize them. Too faint, too rare, too strange. The most famous case is the WAV signal, recorded in the year 1977. It lasted only 72 seconds, came from the direction of the Sagittarius constellation, and had such a clear structure that scientists attributed it to an artificial source. But the signal was never repeated. Not once. Neither before nor after. Maybe it was a coincidence. Or maybe a brief greeting we never responded to. Some experts believe that the universe may be full of signals, but we're only listening on one narrow frequency. Imagine having a radio receiver while alien civilizations are broadcasting in infrared, ultraviolet, or even gravitational waves. We are simply not tuned into the right wavelength. Now picture a different scenario. An advanced civilization might not use radio at all. It could transmit information through quantum means, using particles completely undetectable to our antennas. For them, radio waves might be as primitive as smoke signals are to us. Crude, outdated, utterly inefficient. That's why we could be sitting in a noisy room full of voices and yet not understand a word, because we don't speak the language. Now let's move on to a more unsettling hypothesis. What if they're already here? Stephen Hawking once warned, if you hear footsteps in the jungle, it might not be a human. We should be cautious about seeking contact. Broadcasting a message into space saying "here we are" is like putting up a sign in a shop window. Those who answer might not be friendly. Human history confirms this. Encounters between more advanced and less advanced civilizations often end poorly for the latter. The conquistadors were not merciful to the Aztecs, despite their accomplishments. And who says aliens would be humane? But there's also another point of view. Physicist Michio Kaku has said, if a civilization can cross interstellar distances, it must be far older than us. And if it's older, it has likely moved past the stages of war and destruction. We're teenagers. They're adults. They have no reason to conquer us. They're probably more curious to see how we survive. In other words, we might just be a long-term observation project, like an ant colony under glass. Moreover, we already know of thousands of exoplanets, some of which are located in what scientists call the habitable zone. Among the most intriguing are TRAPPIST-1, Kepler-442b, and Proxima b. These worlds orbit stars similar to our Sun and are close in size to Earth. And here's what really matters. If even one of them harbors life, then we are no longer alone. Today, numerous projects around the world are actively searching for signs of extraterrestrial life. Among them are SETI, the most well-known initiative, focused on detecting radio signals breakthrough listen, funded by billionaire Yuri Milner. This project uses the world's largest radio telescope's JWST James Webb Space Telescope. It analyzes the atmospheres of exoplanets, searching for biomarkers like oxygen, methane, and carbon dioxide. But even with all the power of these instruments, we still haven't found anything. Why? Some scientists argue that we might be looking in the wrong place or for the wrong thing. Perhaps we're waiting for a radio signal when we should be searching for laser pulses, or even for archaeological traces on the Moon or Mars. What if ancient civilizations have already left messages for us, but they remain buried under layers of dust, ice, or stone? The number 36 sounds surprisingly specific, but it's important to understand this isn't a precise count, but rather an estimate based on the assumption that life evolves in a way similar to how it did on Earth. However, Earth is only a single experiment, just one, with a known outcome. We still don't know how typical that outcome really is. What if life like ours arises far more frequently, but rarely advances to a technologically developed stage? Or, on the contrary, what if it occurs only once in a billion cases, and we truly are alone in the galaxy? But if we're not alone, where is everyone else? Perhaps there's a massive filter between us and other civilizations. This is the idea that most forms of life don't make it past a certain barrier. Nuclear war, climate catastrophe, biological threats, artificial intelligence, the list goes on. Maybe we haven't encountered the filter yet, or perhaps we already have, and we're now among the rare survivors. One possible scenario suggests that civilizations do arise, but they can't survive for long. That would explain why, at any given moment, there are so few, and why the estimate lands on such a small number, 36. Imagine this. Breaking news announces that a repeating signal has been detected from deep space. It's not natural. It's not a pulsar, not radio noise. It's a sequence of numbers, or an image, or a voice. What happens to humanity? Some will say, this is the beginning of a new era. Others will panic. Myths will resurface, religions will stir, and fear of the unknown will spread. Some will believe it's the end of the world, others a sign of salvation, and many will claim it's all fake. But the most profound change will be in how we see ourselves. We will no longer think of ourselves as the center of the universe. We will realize we are just one form of consciousness, one version of intelligence among many. It could become the greatest catalyst in the evolution of humanity, just like the discovery that Earth wasn't the center of the cosmos once changed everything. And there are other possibilities. Maybe the first contact won't come through signals, but through the discovery of alien artifacts, or through neural networks that learn to analyze vast amounts of data and uncover traces of extraterrestrial technology. Perhaps aliens have already entered the digital realm, not as humanoids, but as digital forms of life. And they communicate not through antennas, but through algorithms. We live in a galaxy filled with hundreds of billions of stars and millions of planets that may be capable of supporting life. According to calculations, up to 36 intelligent civilizations could exist simultaneously right now if life developed even somewhat similarly to how it did on Earth. The lack of contact so far is not proof that we're alone. It may simply reflect the limitations of our technology or search strategies. Humanity might be at the very beginning of a long journey, or perhaps we've already passed a critical barrier, becoming a rare exception in the history of the universe. If contact does happen, it will forever change our civilization, our worldview, culture, religion, and science. And perhaps it might even save us from self-destruction by helping us understand that we are not alone and that we must be worthy of that truth. So next time you look up at the stars, remember, someone might be looking back. Have you ever wondered why some people literally have a cold stare? Why do certain politicians or businessmen make you feel an inexplicable uneasiness when you look at them? And why do legends about serpent people exist in absolutely every culture worldwide, from ancient Egypt to Amazon tribes, separated by oceans and millennia? What if all of this isn't just coincidence? What if myths about dragons and serpent-like gods are distorted historical memories? Today we'll dive into one of the most controversial and mysterious theories of our time. We'll discuss a race of beings that may have been living among us for thousands of years, disguised as ordinary humans. Are you ready to learn the truth about reptilians? To understand modern theories, let's look into deep antiquity. And here we encounter our first mystery. Imagine, the ancient Sumerians in Mesopotamia worshipped the Anunnaki, beings they described as serpent people from the heavens. Their texts clearly state that these creatures descended from the sky and brought humans knowledge of agriculture, writing, and astronomy. But in return, they demanded submission and worship. Let's move to ancient India. Here we encounter the Nagars, half-human, half-serpent beings living in an underground kingdom. According to the Vedas, they possessed supernatural abilities and could take human form. Interestingly, Nagars often married humans, giving rise to special ruling dynasties. In Central America, the Aztecs and Maya worshipped Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. This god was depicted as a human with reptilian features who arrived from across the sea. According to legends, he taught people the calendar, mathematics, and architecture, then promised to return. In China, dragons were always considered the wisest beings, capable of taking human form. Emperors called themselves sons of dragons. And in Africa, the Dogon tribe spoke of fish people from the constellation Sirius who gave them knowledge about space. Could all these scattered civilizations have independently invented the same story? Or were they describing real encounters with representatives of an unknown race? The modern interpretation of these ancient legends emerged in the 20th century, when the era of UFOs and contactees began. The first mentions of modern reptilians appeared in the works of ufologists in the 1960s-70s. They claimed these beings weren't mythical gods, but representatives of an advanced civilization from a planet in the Alpha Draconis system. According to their version, reptilians arrived on Earth thousands of years ago and have been secretly controlling humanity ever since. The theory gained real popularity thanks to British author David Icke. In the 1990s, he released a series of books claiming that the global elite are descendants or hybrids of the reptilian race. In his opinion, they can change their appearance, taking human form, but sometimes their true nature manifests. According to this theory, reptilians occupy key positions in power among politicians, bankers, media magnates, and even entertainment stars. Their goal is to control humanity through creating wars, economic crises, and manipulating public opinion. With the advent of the internet, the theory got a second life. Thousands of videos appeared where users expose celebrities, pointing to strange blinking, unusual pupil shapes, or manifestations of scales on skin. Of course, all these proofs are easily explained by technical video recording artifacts, but theory supporters see them as confirmation of their beliefs. Reptilian theory supporters often reference scientific research, interpreting it quite peculiarly. In neurobiology, the concept of the reptilian brain really exists. It's the most ancient part of our brain responsible for basic instincts, aggression, territoriality, drive for dominance. It's called this because it resembles the brain of reptiles. Conspiracy theorists claim, what if this part is more developed in some people? What if this is genetic heritage from the reptilian race? Some theory supporters reference rare genetic conditions where human skin acquires a scaly structure, ichthyosis. They claim this is a manifestation of true reptilian nature. Of course, from a medical standpoint this is complete nonsense, but for believers in the theory, it's another proof. Genealogy researchers have indeed discovered that many European ruling dynasties are connected by family ties, but instead of the logical explanation, political marriages between noble families, theory supporters see this as proof of the existence of a reptilian bloodline. Another argument is observations of certain influential people's behavior. They're described as cold, unfeeling, cold-blooded in decision-making. Conspiracy theorists interpret this literally as a sign of reptilian nature. And now, the most interesting part. We gained access to archival materials that may shed light on this mystery. The story you're about to hear was never officially confirmed, but 1987, New Mexico, an underground research complex near the town of Dulce. Electronics engineer Thomas Costello worked at a secret facility officially listed as a biological laboratory. According to him, only people with maximum security clearance had access to the lower levels of the base. One day Costello accidentally found himself on the 7th underground level, where he wasn't supposed to be. What he saw turned his understanding of reality upside down. According to his description, large cylindrical capsules contained strange creatures, human-reptile hybrids. But the most shocking thing happened when he met one of the base's inhabitants face to face. It was a tall, about 2 meters high, humanoid creature with grey-green scaly skin. The eyes were large, yellow, with vertical pupils like a snake's. Costello claimed the creature looked at him and he felt something scanning his mind. A few days after this incident, the entire 7th level was sealed for technical maintenance. Costello was transferred to another job, then fired due to staff reduction. All documents related to his work disappeared from the archives. In 1990, Costello attempted to make this story public, but shortly after that he disappeared. His family claims he went on vacation and never returned. Coincidence? Or, if we assume reptilians really exist, the main question arises: what do they want from humanity? One of the most widespread versions states that reptilians feed on people's negative emotions, fear, anger, despair. Therefore, they provoke wars, crises, and conflicts. Every time humanity experiences mass stress, they get their food. Another version claims that humans were originally created by reptilians as biological labor force. We extract resources, develop technologies, and they reap the fruits of our labor while staying in the shadows. A third hypothesis suggests that Earth is a giant laboratory and humanity are test subjects in a long-term genetic experiment. Reptilians study evolution, social development, and technological progress. But there's also a more optimistic version. Perhaps reptilians are an ancient guardian race that monitors the balance of forces in the universe. Their interference in human affairs is aimed not at enslavement, but at preventing civilization's self-destruction. What if their plan is neither evil nor good, simply incomprehensibly alien to human understanding? After all, we don't explain to ants why we build roads through their anthills. And now the most important question: if reptilians really live among us, how can we recognize them? Theory supporters identify several characteristic features. First, unusually cold skin to the touch. Second, eyes. They often describe an empty, reptilian gaze and rare blinking. Third, strange reaction to cold. Reptilians supposedly feel comfortable at low temperatures. In behavior, they note emotional coldness, ability to easily lie and manipulate people, as well as a strange craving for power and control. Of course, these qualities can be found in many ordinary people, especially among politicians and businessmen. In the HD video era, enthusiasts look for technical artifacts, strange reflections in eyes, glitches in skin imagery, unusual shadows. Of course, all this is easily explained by video recording and compression features, but so, what do we have? Ancient legends that are surprisingly similar to each other, modern conspiracy theories with millions of followers, strange coincidences and unexplained facts, and a complete absence of scientific evidence. But you know what's most interesting? Even if reptilians are complete fiction, the very popularity of this theory says something important about our distrust of authority, about searching for simple explanations of complex problems, about the desire to find meaning in the chaos of the modern world. Now imagine, if you met a real reptilian today, would you recognize them? What if your boss, teacher, favorite actor on screen isn't who they seem? And the scariest question, are you absolutely sure you're human? If you want more stories about alien races, secret societies, and historical mysteries, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. The next video will dive even deeper into these secrets. And in the comments, write, do you believe that not only humans live among us? And if so, which famous personalities do you suspect? See you in the next episode. And remember, the truth is out there. The question of the presence of intelligent life forms from other worlds on our planet has fascinated humanity for centuries. Numerous researchers and enthusiasts are convinced that representatives of extraterrestrial civilizations have repeatedly contacted Earth's inhabitants, leaving traces in the history and culture of various peoples. The concept of paleo-contact has gained significant recognition in scientific and quasi-scientific circles, becoming the foundation for numerous studies and hypotheses. According to this theory, our planet has served as an object of study for representatives of advanced cosmic civilizations for millennia who were perceived by ancient people as divine beings. Modern ufologists and researchers of anomalous phenomena identify three main extraterrestrial races that, in their opinion, have had the greatest impact on the evolution of human civilization. This data is based on analysis of eyewitness testimonies, ancient texts, and modern observations of unidentified flying objects. The most documented representatives of extraterrestrial intelligence are considered to be the so-called Greys, small humanoid creatures that have become the symbol of modern ufology. These beings are characterized by specific appearance, disproportionately large head with miniature body structure, huge black oval-shaped eyes, and height not exceeding that of a human child. According to contactee descriptions, Greys possess unique biological properties. They are capable of existing in various dimensions of space, allowing them to move between worlds. Their metabolism is adapted to both consuming material food and absorbing various forms of energy. A distinctive feature of their diet is their preference for biological materials of human origin, particularly hormonal secretions from endocrine glands. Communication occurs through mental connection, and movement can happen through spatial portals. The duration of their existence is measured in many centuries. A critical problem for this race has been the degradation of reproductive function, leading to a transition to artificial reproduction methods. To restore genetic diversity, the Greys initiated an interspecies cross-breeding program with the human race, aimed at creating hybrid life forms. Their home world is located in the area of the Orion star cluster, in the Zeta Reticuli system. Researchers note that Greys demonstrate mechanistic behavior devoid of emotional component, suggesting their artificial origin or loss of spiritual component during evolution. There are assumptions about the subordinate position of Greys relative to other extraterrestrial races, particularly reptilian civilizations. Many cases of human disappearances are linked specifically to the activities of representatives of this race. In the mid-20th century, according to conspiracy theories, a secret treaty was concluded between US government structures and Grey representatives. The agreement conditions involved the transfer of advanced technologies in exchange for permission to conduct research on human subjects. These studies include medical manipulations, examination of reproductive systems, and creation of interspecies hybrids. The hybridization program is viewed as a long-term strategy for creating a new race adapted to conditions of various planetary systems. Second race. Dragon-like reptilians. The second category of extraterrestrial civilizations is represented by reptilian beings, highly developed humanoids with characteristics resembling Earth's reptiles. Their civilization originates from the Alpha Draconis star system, which explains their alternative name, Draconians. Representatives of this race are distinguished by impressive physical parameters, reaching for meters in height, and a reputation as invincible fighters. Their social structure is built on the principle of strict hierarchy with military caste dominance, reflecting their aggressive nature and expansionist tendencies. Reptilians possess developed psychic abilities and feed on negative emotional manifestations of intelligent beings, such as aggression, fear, and hatred. Some researchers classify them as a degraded species with pronounced destructive tendencies. According to conspiracy concepts, reptilian civilization has carried out large-scale penetration into Earth's power structures. Thanks to their ability for morphological transformation, they can assume human appearance and occupy key positions in political, economic, and religious institutions. Their influence extends to financial corporations, information agencies, and educational systems. Reptilians use manipulative techniques to generate conflicts and military clashes that serve as sources of the negative energy they require. It is assumed that the reptilian empire conducts aggressive policies toward other civilizations, destroying or subjugating entire planetary systems. Their ultimate goal is establishing total control over intelligent life forms in the universe. Third race. Nordic civilizations. The third group of extraterrestrial visitors consists of Nordic races, tall humanoid beings whose appearance is maximally close to the human type. Two main varieties are distinguished: Arcturian tall whites and Pleiadian Nordics. The first subgroup, described by military researcher Charles Hall, originates from the vicinity of the star Arcturus. These beings are characterized by tall stature about 2 meters, exceptionally light skin, and humanoid anatomy. Their appearance includes light hair of moderate length, large blue eyes, and proportional physique. A unique feature of Arcturians is their 2-stage life cycle. For the first for centuries, they maintain an unchanged appearance, after which a second growth phase begins, increasing their height to 3 meters. Their total lifespan reaches 8 centuries. Arcturians possess advanced technologies in astronautics and communications. Their fleet includes compact research vehicles for local movements and large interstellar ships for long-distance travel. The shape of their aircraft varies from elliptical to egg-shaped structures with flat bases. A characteristic feature is white luminescence and windows resembling Earth aviation. These ships are adapted for flights within the solar system, but are not designed for intergalactic travel. For self-defense, Arcturians use portable devices in the form of metal cylinders that generate specific radiation. This radiation affects the nervous system, causing temporary immobilization without long-term harm. Their communication technologies allow information transmission directly into the recipient's consciousness, mimicking natural speech. Arcturians' intellectual abilities surpass human capabilities several times over. The second subgroup of Nordic civilizations originates from the Pleiades star cluster. Externally, they are virtually indistinguishable from humans of European type: tall stature, light long hair, blue eyes, and athletic build. Their skin has a characteristic chalk-like shade, and their clothing features a fitted cut. The peak of reports about contacts with Pleiadian Nordics occurred in the 1950s, after which the frequency of such testimonies significantly decreased. This is attributed to increased activity of other extraterrestrial races, particularly the Greys. Unlike previous races, Nordics demonstrate exclusively peaceful intentions toward humanity. Their mission involves observing the development of Earth's civilization and providing assistance in critical situations. Contactees note their concern about the planet's ecological problems and international conflicts. Nordics possess telepathic abilities and display qualities associated with spiritual mentors: wisdom, patience, benevolence. Researchers characterize them as protectors of humanity, striving to promote spiritual and intellectual progress of Earth's civilization. Their interaction with humans is based on principles of mutual respect and non-interference in the natural course of development. The interaction between various extraterrestrial civilizations creates a complex geopolitical picture at the cosmic level. Each race pursues its own goals, which often conflict with each other and with humanity's interests. Reptilian civilizations strive to establish hegemony through infiltration and control of key power institutions. Rays focus on solving their own biological problems through genetic experiments. Nordic races take the position of observers and protectors, trying to prevent the destructive influence of other extraterrestrial groups. The current situation is characterized by an invisible struggle for spheres of influence on Earth, where humanity simultaneously acts as an object of study, a resource, and a potential ally of various cosmic forces. The phenomenon of extraterrestrial civilizations remains one of the most controversial topics of our time. Regardless of the degree of authenticity of the presented information, studying these concepts helps better understand human psychology, our fears and expectations regarding contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. Analysis of testimonies and theories about various alien races continues to develop, attracting attention from both serious researchers and the general public. Each new case of UFO observation or contact adds elements to the overall picture, which may ultimately lead to a revolutionary revision of our understanding of humanity's place in the universe. Picture this: a scorching summer night in the New Mexico desert. The silence is so profound you can hear sand rustling in the gentle breeze. The sky is studded with stars, and suddenly a brilliant flash. A fireball roars down to Earth, leaving behind a trail of smoke and mysteries. This happened in July 1947, near the sleepy town of Roswell. What was it? An ordinary weather balloon, as authorities claim, or something so incredible that it continues to captivate millions of minds to this day? Let's examine this step by step and try to peer behind the veil of mystery. So let's start with what we were told officially. In July 1947, a rancher named Mac Brazel, a simple man from a ranch, discovered something strange among his fields. Debris. Metallic, shiny, light as a feather, yet strong as steel. He decided to report it to the sheriff, who then contacted the military from the nearby Roswell base. The next day, July 8, the military issued a statement that shocked the world. They had found a flying disc. Yes, exactly that, a UFO. Newspapers buzzed, people began whispering about aliens. But within less than a day, the tone changed. Mistake, said the military. It's just a weather balloon. According to them, it was part of the secret Project Mogula program designed to monitor Soviet Union nuclear tests. The debris, they claimed, was just pieces of rubber, foil, and wooden beams. Nothing unusual. By 1994, the US Air Force even published a report to definitively close the topic. Case closed, curtain down. But why then does this story still haunt us? Perhaps because the official version sounds just a bit too smooth. Now let's peer into where the real magic begins, the world of rumors and theories. Immediately after the incident, local residents began whispering, "The military is hiding something." They said that among the debris were not only pieces of metal, but also bodies. Yes, bodies. Small, thin, with huge black eyes and grey skin. Aliens. One witness, local mortician Glenn Dennis, later told how he was called to the base to provide child-sized coffins supposedly for accident victims. But why such small coffins? Surely not for humans. The rumors snowballed. Someone claimed to have seen the military hauling away debris under cover of night to a secret base, the infamous Area 51. Others swore they heard strange sounds in the desert that night. either screams or the hum of unknown machines. And here's where things get really interesting. What if Roswell isn't just a coincidence, but the key to one of humanity's greatest mysteries? Decades later, when Cold War fears had subsided, new witnesses began to emerge. Their accounts were striking in their detail and sincerity. Major Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer who first arrived at the crash site, later admitted in an interview, what he saw resembled nothing earthly. Metallic fragments that couldn't be bent or scratched, material resembling plastic but possessing incredible strength. Even more startling were the testimonies of a nurse from the local hospital. She described being called to the military base to assist with an autopsy. According to her account, she saw small grey bodies with disproportionately large heads. The beings had 4 fingers instead of 5, and their skin was smooth and cold to the touch. When she tried to speak about it, she was threatened with serious consequences if she talked. Another witness, a sergeant who worked at the base at the time, years later revealed how he was forced to sign a non-disclosure document. He saw trucks removing canvas-covered boxes from the crash site. One box accidentally opened, and he glimpsed something inside that looked like part of an unknown aircraft's hull, smooth, seamless, as if cast from a single piece of unknown metal. What do scientists say about the materials found in Roswell? This is where things get really interesting. Some researchers claim to have gained access to fragments from that very crash. Analyzers revealed unusual properties, shape memory metal that returned to its original state after deformation. Such technologies only became available to humanity decades later. A materials scientist from Met who examined allegedly authentic fragments discovered an unusual crystalline structure. The metal contained isotopes in proportions not found naturally on Earth. Moreover, some elements were arranged in the lattice so perfectly that reproducing such a structure with modern methods would be extremely difficult. But skeptics object, where's the guarantee of authenticity for these samples? Perhaps they're products of secret military developments that later leaked and were passed off as alien artifacts. After all, in the 1940s, the military industry was actively experimenting with new alloys and composite materials. A physicist from Stanford offered another explanation. Perhaps the materials found were the result of experiments with plasma or high-energy fields. In those years, scientists were just beginning to study plasma properties, and some experiments could have led to the creation of materials with unusual characteristics. Regardless of what actually happened, the Roswell incident became a cultural phenomenon that changed our perception of space and the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Before 1947, the idea of aliens was the domain of science fiction writers and dreamers. After Roswell, it became part of mainstream culture. The city of Roswell transformed into a mecca for UFO enthusiasts from around the world. Annually, thousands of tourists come here to visit the International UFO Museum and Research Center, walk the alien trail, and photograph themselves with the green aliens adorning every lamppost in the city. Local authorities don't resist this tourism brings the city millions of dollars annually. Roswell spawned an entire entertainment industry. Movies, books, TV series, computer games all somehow connected to what happened in the New Mexico desert. The X-Files, Men in Black, Independence Day, these and many other works of popular culture draw inspiration from the Roswell story. But there's also a more serious side. The incident stimulated scientific research into the possibility of extraterrestrial life. The SETI program's search for extraterrestrial intelligence, exoplanet research projects, studies of interstellar travel possibilities, all of this is partly the legacy of that July day in 1947. However, not all UFO researchers agree with the traditional version of an alien spacecraft crash. Multiple alternative theories exist, each offering its own explanation for the Roswell events. One of the most intriguing theories suggests that a time travel experiment occurred in the New Mexico desert. According to this version, The military was testing technology allowing movement through space and time as part of an ultra-secret project. The experiment went wrong, resulting in artifacts from the future appearing which would explain why the materials possessed such unusual properties. Another theory connects the incident to tests of ultra-secret German weapons. At the end of World War II, Americans brought many scientists and their developments from Germany as part of Operation Paperclip. Perhaps Roswell was testing one of these projects, an aircraft based on anti-gravity technologies that German scientists had been working on. There's also a version suggesting the crash was staged to divert attention from truly important military experiments. In those years, atomic weapons testing was actively conducted in New Mexico, and the military might have needed cover for particularly secret operations. Some researchers propose the incident is connected to underground civilization activity. In their opinion, advanced communities exist beneath the Earth that occasionally surface. The crash could have been the result of an accident involving one of their craft. In the 21st century, interest in the Roswell incident hasn't waned. Modern technologies allow fresh perspectives on old evidence and documents. Independent research groups use satellite imagery, ground-penetrating radar, and other high-tech methods to search for traces of that long-ago event. One research group discovered anomalous magnetic fields in the area of the suspected crash site. Instruments detect deviations that can't be explained by natural geological processes. Some scientists suggest these might be traces of unknown technology's impact. Other researchers focus on analyzing archival documents. Using modern image processing methods, they attempt to restore erased or censored fragments of official reports. Some of these efforts have already yielded results. Previously unknown testimonies and documents have been discovered. Interestingly, representatives of mainstream science have also joined the investigations. Several universities have launched UFO study programs using rigorous scientific methods. Their goal isn't to prove or disprove alien existence, but to objectively investigate and explain phenomena. In recent years, the US government has begun gradually declassifying UFO-related documents. In 2017, the Pentagon officially acknowledged the existence of a program studying unidentified aerial phenomena. Video recordings were released showing military pilots documenting objects performing maneuvers impossible according to modern physics. While these revelations don't directly concern the Roswell incident, they demonstrate that the military takes the study of unidentified objects seriously. This forces a fresh perspective on events from 70 years ago. Some former military personnel, bound by non-disclosure oaths, began giving interviews shortly before their deaths. Their accounts add new details to the Roswell story mosaic. One claimed to have seen strange materials being studied in the base's secret laboratories. Another described how his unit received orders to clean up the area after the crash. So what happened in Roswell on that distant July night in 1947? Was it simply a weather balloon that fell from the sky? Or something greater, first contact with another civilization that changed the course of history? We can speculate endlessly, but the truth, like stars in the desert, remains distant and alluring. One thing is clear, this mystery has captivated us for 77 years. Perhaps this is the real value of the Roswell incident, not what actually happened, but how this story makes us dream, explore, and ask questions. It reminds us that the universe is full of mysteries, and some of them might be closer than we think. What do you think? Do you believe in aliens or think it's fiction? What do the sand dunes of New Mexico hide? Write in the comments, like if this story hooked you, and subscribe so you don't miss new mysteries we'll uncover together. It all began with a barely perceptible sound, a high-frequency whine, as if operating right at the edge of human hearing. A man, sleeping in a tent on the hillside, opened his eyes. The forest was steeped in an unnatural silence. No wind, no rustling leaves. He peeked outside and saw the sky pulsing. Within that shimmering light, there was someone, Or something that wasn't supposed to be there? If you've ever had the feeling that you're being watched, maybe it isn't just paranoia. Maybe the observer isn't on a rooftop, but in orbit, or from another star system entirely. 10th place, the Essenae or Essences. This race is frequently mentioned in esoteric teachings and channeled communications. The Essenae are described as a highly evolved spiritual civilization, allegedly existing beyond dense physical matter. Some sources refer to them as curators of reincarnation and keepers of sacred knowledge. The Essenae are ethereal, semi-transparent beings with radiant skin. They are approximately 2 meters tall, though human perception may distort their appearance. Their origin is believed to lie in realms that exist beyond our known dimensions. They do not intervene directly in earthly affairs, but according to those who claim contact, they guide certain individuals in their spiritual evolution. The Essenae do not use technology as we know it. Everything is based on thought energy and frequency resonance. 9th place, the Venusians. As strange as it may sound, many contactees from the last century claimed that intelligent life either exists or once existed on Venus. These claims often referred to a highly advanced and benevolent humanoid civilization known as the Venusians. The Venusians are humanoid beings who look almost indistinguishable from humans, but with more harmonious facial features and a radiant aura. Their height ranges between 1.8 and 2 meters. They are believed to originate from the inner or parallel layers of the planet Venus. In the 1950s and 60s, individuals such as George Odomsky and Omnek One described encounters with Venusians, stating that these beings warned humanity about the dangers of nuclear weapons and the destructive path we were on. According to some theories, the Venusians have long since left physical Venus, transitioning into a different energetic state, yet they continue to observe us. 8th place, the insectoids or ant-like beings. Translated and refined English version. Not all extraterrestrial life forms evoke wonder or curiosity. Some inspire fear and a deep, mystical sense of unease. The insectoids are one such race, resembling massive, intelligent insect-like beings, often described as mantis or ant-like in form. The insectoids have a chitinous exoskeleton, an elongated head, and multi-jointed limbs. They are approximately 2.5 meters tall. Their origin is believed to be the Gemini constellation or unverified extra-dimensional realms. They rarely make direct contact. According to eyewitness accounts, the insectoids function as biological observers and researchers, showing little interest in human culture. Their minds are believed to operate as a collective consciousness, lacking clear individuality. In several reports, they have been seen in the presence of the Greys, fueling speculation about a possible collaboration between the two species. 7th place, the Orions or Orion Group. The Orions are mysterious beings said to originate from the Orion star system. They are often cited as one of the most influential races in galactic affairs. References mention to main factions, one benevolent, the other expansionist. The Orions exhibit varied appearances. Some are described as tall, refined humanoids, while others have distinctly reptilian traits. Their height ranges from 1.5 to 2.5 meters. They are believed to come from the 3 stars of Orion's belt, Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mintoka. Some researchers speculate that the Orions have ancient connections to the Egyptian civilization and may have inspired the construction of the pyramids. In certain esoteric circles, they are believed to possess deep knowledge of Earth's energy grids and aim to help restore planetary balance. Others claim that a shadow faction of the Orion Group is involved in controlling global power structures. 6th place, the Arcturians. If spiritually advanced civilizations were to appoint guardians of Earth, the Arcturians would likely be among the foremost candidates. They are described as one of the oldest and wisest extraterrestrial races, focused on assisting humanity in the evolution of consciousness. The Arcturians are tall beings with bluish or violet skin, large eyes, and elongated skulls. They are approximately 2 meters tall. Their origin is believed to be the Arcturus system in the Botes constellation, roughly 36 light-years from Earth. The Arcturians are believed to possess advanced technologies, including crystalline starships and devices that influence vibrational frequencies. Some individuals who engage in meditation and energy practices claim to have received messages from Arcturians, offering both warnings and support. They do not interfere directly but assist from a distance through energetic fields, dreams, and subtle signs. 5th place, the Anunnaki. A name that sparks the imagination of thousands of researchers, the Anunnaki. This ancient race is mentioned in Sumerian texts as gods who came from the sky. According to one theory, they played a key role in the formation of human civilization. The Anunnaki are described as tall, muscular humanoids with beards and regal robes. They stand around 3 meters tall. According to legend, they came from the planet Nibiru, a mysterious celestial body with an elongated orbit. It is believed that the Anunnaki arrived on Earth in search of gold, which they needed to restore the atmosphere of their planet. Humans, according to some interpretations, were created as a biological labor force through the genetic modification of native primates. Archaeological findings in Mesopotamia, cuneiform tablets, and depictions of winged beings continue to fuel interest in this theory. Some theories suggest that representatives of this race may still be present on Earth, operating from the shadows and influencing key aspects of civilization. 4th place, the Nordics or Scandinavians. Fair-skinned, blonde, blue-eyed, and perfectly built, the Nordics resemble characters from Norse mythology, which explains their nickname. They are described as peaceful and wise extraterrestrials who have come to aid humanity. The Nordics are humanoid beings with ideal facial features, light hair, blue eyes, and a soft radiant aura. Their height ranges from 1.8 to 2 meters. They are said to originate from the Pleiades star cluster in the constellation Taurus. According to Contactee reports, the Nordics possess a strong moral code and reject violence. They have allegedly warned humanity of potential self-destruction, especially during the era of nuclear tension. Some accounts claim they were seen near military sites and missile installations during unexplained system failures, fueling theories of unofficial visits and subtle interventions aimed at preventing disaster. 3rd place, the Reptilians. If there were ever a race perfectly suited to play the antagonist in an interstellar saga, it would be the Reptilians. Many accounts portray them as an ancient, powerful, and extraordinarily cunning civilization whose goals often run counter to those of humanity. The Reptilians are tall beings with scaly skin, elongated skulls, vertical pupils, and clawed hands. Their height ranges from 2 to 3 meters. They are believed to originate from the Alpha Draconis star system in the constellation Draco. According to popular theories, reptilians are capable of shapeshifting into human form and infiltrating positions of power in governments, corporations, and religious institutions. Their alleged mission is to maintain control over humanity through fear, manipulation, and division. Some ufologists associate them with ancient cults, ritual practices, and secret societies. However, some esoteric sources suggest that not all reptilians are hostile. There may be neutral or even allied factions acting independently of the main reptilian agenda. 2nd place, the Grey Zetas. If there were a universally recognized image of an alien in modern culture, it would be the Greys. Large black eyes, greyish-white skin, thin bodies, and small mouths. This depiction has become almost canonical. The Greys are short humanoid beings with disproportionately large heads, lacking visible ears or noses. Their skin is greyish-white, and their eyes are large and almond-shaped. They stand between 1.2 and 1.5 meters tall. They are believed to originate from the Zeta Reticuli star system in the constellation Reticulum. The Greys are most commonly associated with abduction reports, in which they allegedly perform medical or genetic experiments. Many individuals describe similar experiences: lost time, strange scars, and vivid dreams involving these cold, emotionless, yet intellectually intense beings. They are thought to act as biological avatars, not autonomous individuals, but agents of another civilization, executing specific tasks. Some researchers believe they were engineered as a servant race for data collection and monitoring of humanity. It is also speculated that secret agreements may exist between them and Earth governments involving an exchange of advanced technology for access to human resources. First place humanoids from the Pleiades or Pleiadians, the most mysterious and widely discussed race in ufology circles. The Pleiadians are beings who appear human but are said to possess a higher vibrational frequency and expanded consciousness. The Pleiadians are humanoid entities with blue eyes, light hair, radiant skin, and a strong energetic aura. They stand approximately 2 meters tall. According to various sources, they originate from the Pleiades star cluster, located about 440 light-years from Earth. They are described as messengers of light and emissaries of the so-called Galactic Federation, whose mission is to awaken humanity. The Pleiadians are said to share knowledge through channeling, helping people develop intuition, inner vision, and liberate themselves from limiting mental constructs. Some believe that they have been involved in Earth's evolution since ancient times, assisting in the construction of megalithic structures and transmitting insights about the cosmos, energy, and the nature of matter. Certain researchers claim that their descendants may live among us today, unaware of their true origin. Are they among us? Translated and refined English version. In every culture, on every continent, and in every era, people have looked up at the sky and felt that we are not alone. From Sumerian clay tablets to modern pilot sightings, from ancient scriptures to unexplained radar shutdowns, all signs suggest that contact may already be happening. But one fundamental question remains. If they truly are among us, who are they to us? Teachers, colonizers, observers, or a reflection of what we might become? The world is becoming increasingly transparent. With each passing day, data leaks, anonymous reports, and disclosures are turning what was once considered science fiction into a plausible reality. Perhaps the discovery of extraterrestrial life is not a matter of if, but when. But will we be ready? Or will the knowledge of them change us forever? Think about that the next time you look up at the stars, because in that moment, someone might be looking back.